Hey everyone, my name is Wedge, and this is our Magic the Gathering lore series. If you haven't seen any of these before, we summarize magic novels and present them to you in bite-sized pieces. Today we'll be telling you the story of the first part of the Wrath and Storm anthology, Weatherlight. Again, massive spoilers if you haven't seen the first 5 parts. Here's a link to part 1 and the playlist will be in the description. We left off last time with the situation being pretty grim. Phyrexia had invaded Dominaria and destroyed all of Urza's bloodline subjects except for one, Gerard Capuchin. Under Karn's protection, he was able to escape. Besides that, things are going really poorly. Pretty much brings us up to date. So without further ado, I present to you Weatherlight. After Gerard was saved by Karn, he was brought to the Kondo war clan run by Sidar Kondo for safekeeping. There, Karn watched over him as he grew up with Sidar's son Vwel. As they grew older, Vwel became increasingly jealous of and angry at Gerard due to a mysterious figure named Stark saying all these terrible things about him. One day, Vwel had enough and left the clan, but not before stealing most of the legacy from Karn, who had been storing it within his frame until Gerard was old enough to understand its true power. Naturally, Karn was pretty upset, so he chased Vwel across the world until he finally caught up to him in a small village. There, he confronted Vwel and in the battle accidentally killed an innocent bystander, shaking him to his very core. One of the pieces of the legacy that Vwel took was the Touchstone, an artifact that began to shut Karn down as soon as it was activated near him. However, before it was completely deactivated, Karn reached out and grabbed the Touchstone away from Vwel. After shutting down, Vwel could do nothing to pry the Touchstone out of Karn's hands, so he fled, leaving Karn in this random town, deactivated for years. Just, Karn, man, he's the worst luck ever. Vwel takes the legacy and scatters it all over the place, leaving Gerard with one piece, a necklace with an hourglass pendant. Gerard, not knowing what happened to his lifelong caretaker Karn, decides to leave the clan. He begins training in the arts of magic under the guide of Multani, the Marrow Sorcerer. While in his care, Gerard also met Raphelos, an elf of Llanowar, and Miri, a cat warrior. They quickly became friends and stayed that way for some time. Vwel was still super upset about Gerard being the bee's knees, so he pursued him with the sole intent of killing him. Multani could sense this and sent Gerard, Raphelos, and Miri away from the cave they were all living in. When they returned, Multani was gone. Devastated that he was losing everyone he knew, Gerard went back to the war clan to see his adoptive father. However, that didn't really work out, since when he got there, the entire village was destroyed and his father was dead, undoubtedly thanks to Vwel. He traveled aimlessly for some time. In a tavern, Gerard, Raphelos, and Miri were all throwing knives when Sisay shows up and challenges Gerard to a knife-throwing contest. Gerard hits the target square in the center and rejoices. Little does he know, Sisay is, Sisay, that is to say pretty much Robin Hood with a knife. She throws her knife and it splits the handle of Gerard's right in half. The condition of losing this challenge was that Gerard would have to join her crew on the Weatherlight in search of the legacy. The notable members of the Weatherlight before Gerard joins are Tangarth, a Tal'Rum Minotaur, who is the first mate, the ship's navigator Hannah, the Samite healer Orim, Krovax the nobleman, and Squee, a goblin deckhand. They searched for the legacy for years until they were called to Krovax's home in Urborg. His lands were under attack by creatures from a plane called Rath. Sound familiar? The Weatherlight storms into Urborg to fight Gallowbraid and Morinfin, the creatures attacking Krovax. During the fight, Gallowbraid kills Raphelos. Gerard immediately stops fighting as he is in complete shock. Krovax, desperate to win, uses a cursed artifact to summon the angel Selenia, a guardian who had protected his family for generations. With her help, the Weatherlight crew was able to stop the horrors but not save Raphelos. Gerard and Sisay fought. Enraged by his friend's death, Gerard gives up the quest for the legacy and leaves the Weatherlight with his hourglass necklace and Miri in tow. Sisay eventually finds Karn and takes him aboard the Weatherlight along with the Touchstone that he's been holding this entire time. For the record, he's still a statue though, so that's a thing. Anyways, Sisay finds out that Vwel, Gerard's super upset brother, has left the plane of Dominaria for Rath. There, he changes his name to Volrath. Remember the one who originally corrupted Vwel against Gerard? Yeah, Stark. That guy. Well, he's had his hands in everything. He was the one who told Sisay about Vwell going to Rath. While he did help Vwell when he found out that Rath was ruled by Phyrexia, he regretted ever helping him. Not only that, but Vwell, now Volrath, has kidnapped his daughter, so I'd be upset too. Stark also played a huge role in Krovax's life. Krovax had fallen in love with the guardian angel Selenia. Because he loved her so much, he destroyed the artifact that summoned her, unbinding Selenia from Krovax's family. Soon after this, Phyrexians kidnapped her. Surprise, surprise! Stark used this opportunity to get Krovax to go back to the Weatherlight to rescue Selenia. Stark knew he needed the Weatherlight's power to save his daughter. The only problem was that he knew Gerard was the only one who could defeat Volrath, so he had to find a way to get Gerard to Rath. Speaking of Gerard, after leaving the Weatherlight, he travels to Benalia and joins the army, becoming a master-at-arms. Stark must find a way to persuade him to leave. Because he's, the best guy ever, Stark betrays Sisay and sets her up to be kidnapped by Volrath. Along with her, Volrath takes most of the legacy artifacts she had accumulated thus far. Stark tells the Weatherlight crew about this and begs them to find Gerard, travel to Rath, and save Sisay. Yeah, this guy. Meanwhile, Gerard was having his own problems. A local assassin named Castan was trying to recruit Gerard's soldiers. He pleaded with his superior, Commander Alaric, to help him fend off the assassin's treacherous advances. Instead of assisting, Alaric tells Gerard that there's a Minotaur on the outskirts of town asking about him. Gerard finds the Minotaur, who, as it turns out, is Tangarth, the Weatherlight's first mate. He tells Gerard what happened to Sisay and that he must come back to the Weatherlight if they are to have any chance of saving her. Gerard declines, saying that he's done with that kind of life and the Benelish military needs him. Eventually, Gerard finds out that the assassin Castan has actually been working with Commander Alaric the entire time. They've been funneling new recruits into Castan's Assassin's Guild in an attempt to ruin Gerard's reputation. Why? Because apparently everyone in the Benelish military hates Gerard. With the help of Tangarth, Gerard forces the surrender of both Castan and Alaric, effectively ending their assassin recruitment shenanigans. With his world turned upside down once again, Gerard decides to leave the Benelish military and rejoin the Weatherlight. Immediately promoted to captain in Sisay's stead, Gerard sets sail for Llanowar, where he knows Miri went after Raphalos' death. While en route, he finds a spell that'll undo the touchstone's effect on Karn. He uses it and Karn comes back to life. The first thing he does is vow to never kill any living thing ever again, at least knowingly. No matter how bad it is or no matter whose life is in danger, Karn vows to never kill. This is due to the innocent person he accidentally killed while chasing Vwell. Karn. Dude, I feel so bad for this guy. At least we know why his power turns into toughness in combat with other creatures. Finally reaching Llanowar and Miri, the crew finds out that an Aberth is threatening various elven villages. Miri will rejoin the Weatherlight, but not until the Aberth is defeated and her Llanowar brethren are safe. Using the power of the Weatherlight, Gerard activates the powers of the Thran Forge and turns the Aberth into a metal construct. Then he uses the powers of the Touchstone to freeze the Aberth. Whenever the monster would start moving again, Gerard would use the stone to freeze it. This happened over and over again, and the Aberth shrank more and more until it was destroyed completely. Beyond excited that he saved the village, Miri enthusiastically joins the Weatherlight. At Hannah's request, the ship leaves Llanowar for Talaria. The crew is looking for a powerful wizard who can activate the Thran crystal that lets the Weatherlight planeswalk. Hannah's father, Baron, is, one of the most powerful wizards of all time. The only problem is that she decided to become an artificer instead of a wizard, so there could be bad blood there. Regardless, they go full speed ahead toward the time stream-infested Phyrexian-monitored island. It's totally safe. After reaching Talaria, Baron welcomes them with open arms despite his family squabbles. Hannah begs her father to join them on the Weatherlight, but he is unable to due to his responsibilities at the Talarian Academy. However, they don't leave empty-handed. Baron appoints a young wizard named Urtai to join the Weatherlight in his stead. Here's something you need to know. Urtai is unbearably annoying to read about. His arrogance is unmatched by anyone in the story so far, even Yawgmoth. I'm not even kidding, this guy is awful. There's an entire chapter dedicated to him bashing Hannah and all the work she does with artifacts. Let me read you an excerpt. Background: Hannah's trying to explain the importance of the null rod to Urtai. This is a conversation between the two, starting with Hannah. Quote, "I have disabled the null rod. If it were active, then several of the other artifacts wouldn't work at all. It creates a countering field of..." Then Urtai interrupts with, "Nothing I can't do better myself. And as for making the other artifacts stop working, you can do the same by dropping them from a great height." Seriously, this guy's the worst guy ever. He's so annoying. Ugh. Anyways, after picking up Urtai, the Weatherlight flew to Urborg to get Krovax. They found him bitter and unstable, mourning over the death of his entire family to Rath invaders. Plus, it didn't help that the love of his life, Selenia, had been taken from him. He got on the ship and vowed to kill Volrath at all costs. Now that they had the core group together, all that was left was someone who knew how to navigate through Rath. Guess who that was? Yep, Stark. The only one they knew who had knowledge of the plane. Finding him took some time, but even when they did, getting him back wouldn't be easy. He was a prisoner in the land of Keld under a warlord named Meraxus who was working for Volrath. Gerard, along with Miri and Tangarth, fought the Keldan troops until just Meraxus was left. Gerard engaged him in battle, but in pure Stark style, the guy stabbed Meraxus in the back while he wasn't looking. Finally, the Weatherlight had everyone it needed to save Sisay. This anthology is insane. We're only a quarter of the way through. Remember, just this story covers the entire set of Weatherlight. In the coming weeks, we have Tempest, Stronghold, and Exodus to go through as we follow the crew's journey to Rath. I'm pretty excited. If you support the lore series, leave a comment below and like the video. I'd really appreciate it. What'd you all think? Raphaelos came and went so fast, it's too soon. Anyways, we hope you enjoyed it. As always, subscribe below for the latest and most reliable Magic the Gathering information you could ever need. This is the Manosaurus, I'm Wedge. Thanks for watching, we'll see you next time.